Welcome back to Gears and Glory. We're here with Liv and Soph today, and
Again,
me, obviously. The gang's all back. And we're going to
finally.
do a Qatar recap for you. So strap
Yay.
in.
I'll level set. Brit has amazing notes. My computer's dead and I record on my phone, so I can't look at them on my phone. And it was Thanksgiving in the US for those of you US listeners, or not, I guess, if you didn't know it was Thanksgiving. So I was traveling and I missed a lot of the race, and I was like on airplane mode for the majority of Sunday. So I didn't have any problems like avoiding social media, and then I just like got home and watched it, and actually it went really well. Because I didn't have to like stop myself from scrolling Instagram and spoil anything. But that being said, I was exhausted when I watched the race, and my memory is minimal. So I'm gonna be leaning a lot on Brit and
Fair.
Liv for memory recaps and probably just asking a lot of questions.
We can do that. My notes are also a little bit they have some emotion in them. They're not just factual
All good notes
notes.
do.
Mine do too, to be
So, yeah, let's keep that in mind. But Liv, do you want to kick us off with your thoughts and feelings, or we can just jump into the first point of our notes?
I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, and I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some sort of structure here because I've got a lot of thoughts and feelings about the categories across last weekend. I have feelings about F2, and a certain comment that a certain commentator made. And I don't even think I've brought this up to the girls yet, but I've literally been raging about it and spiraling since
God.
Saturday or Sunday.
Spill the beans.
Yeah, you know what? Let's start there because Harry Benjamin, I'm pretty sure that's his name, that F2 commentator. Good Lord. And I don't know. I could be so dramatic and overreacting. I love Paul Aaron. I love Alpine. We all know this. You know what? I don't know if Harry Benjamin meant this comment to come off the way it did, but I can't even remember what the context was, but something happened. I think it was when Paul Aaron won. He won the feature race, and he made some like snarky, half-assed comment about, so Paul Aaron drives for High Tech, which was
noted.
Owned or team principal was Oliver Oakes, who is now team principal at Alpine, right? And obviously it just got announced that Paul Aaron is going to be reserve driver for Alpine next year.
Mm-hmm.
Bloke had the audacity to make a comment insinuating that Paul Aaron only got his Alpine reserve driver role because of Oliver Oakes moving from like one team to the other. And it's like, sure, that probably helped, but because he saw his talent and potential when everybody else is ignoring it.
That's literally, yeah.
Like,
that's how it happens, though.
That's
people
how,
move, and then people
networking.
get the opportunity.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Literally networking.
The way he like worded this and the tone of his voice made it sound like it was such a bad negative, like, oh, you know, he didn't actually work for it sort of role. And I was like,
okay. And
you
know how I feel about Lance
any
Stroll.
driver.
Yeah,
but like it's not like, oh, daddy's team, right? Like it's like I worked with this guy and he saw my potential, and so then he hired me at his next place. That's just like how things work.
Literally.
Okay. I was just about to say that. He was in Fred's team in F2, in F3, and then when Fred got into F1, not too long later, Charles was in his team.
That's just how it works.
It's how it works. They play in the game.
Yeah, literally. And like, of course, like team owner, team principal is going to be the person to see the most potential in their own driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course, you can give him a chance if they get to. I think other teams should have given Paul Aaron a chance, and it's kind of shitty that Oliver Oakes was the only person that saw potential. I still don't understand why Mercedes dropped him. Like, bro was still fighting for the F2 championship this weekend, and we are filming this the weekend of Abu Dhabi's just finished, so this is a bit like back to front. He was still fighting for the championship win in Abu Dhabi, even though his first F2 win was only in Qatar. And he led the championship for a solid chunk of the year without a win.
That's crazy.
That consistent.
That's crazy.
Right? And then midway through the season just had shit luck left, right, and center. Like, the car just went to, like, crap.
Wow. It sounds like he and Charles will be great friends.
Yeah, literal besties.
Sorry, as Liv just mentioned, after Abu Dhabi, and I'm traumatized. I'm sad, girl.
I think we're gonna I know we're not speaking about Abu Dhabi right now, but please tell me you guys saw that video of Charles on the podium chugging the rose water, and everyone's like, "Bro, really thought that was champagne." Drink away the pain.
Oh no.
Baby boy.
Yeah, poor darling.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, Qatar was just as dramatic. Not even in the racing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The Russell Verstappen beef.
Yeah,
Beef.
I missed this because it was Thanksgiving and I was at a bunch of family, like
Family events?
yeah, that's the word. Thank you, event. But like all I saw was like George in an interview saying like he said he's gonna come after me, and then Max saying like I never said that, and then it was just, and again we've just finished Abu Dhabi, but like then it was just the driver dinner and like all these references to like the steak emoji and stuff like that, and I'm like, I skipped a chapter. I missed a week of class, you know,
Oh my God.
I'm not tracking here. So please enlighten me, steep the tea, make sure it's hot because, well, I know it is, but
it is.
I missed it.
Yep.
Please jump in if I miss anything or I'm wrong. But it literally started it was either free practice 3 or qualifying where Max was moving too slow on the track with George coming up on a flyer behind him.
No, but the thing is, Max was on a cool down lap and George was just driving around. He wasn't even on a push lap.
Okay.
They were still 5 minutes. No, they were still 5 minutes before the end of qualifying, like before the end of that session. So it wasn't even like detrimental to his qualifying position, to either of their qualifying positions. They were just going around. Both of them.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I knew Max was, but I don't know. I thought George was on fire, but there you go. That makes it even funnier. So that even like makes me question even more. Basically, then Max got summoned to the stewards for moving slowly on the track, and apparently this is all, obviously we didn't see what happened, but Max reckons that George just absolutely went gun-ho for him. He's like, I've never seen another driver try to screw over another driver so hard. Max obviously ended up dropping from pole to P2, like Max and George swapped, and he got a penalty point, which now
even
makes less sense. And then I think that's kind of where it stopped in Qatar, and then it came over to Abu Dhabi, where Max then was like, no, sorry, what's his name? George. Oh my God, I literally just had a mental blank. George was like, well, actually, Max is a bully. He said he was going to put me on my effing head into a wall and all that. Hold on, I think I've got like literally quotes screenshotted. So yeah, George is like claiming Max is a bully, and Max responds with, yes, but George is a backstabber, that he brings up all this stuff, up. He's a loser, he lies and pastes all kinds of things together that aren't true. It wasn't that dramatic at the stewards last week. Maybe next time it will be, and I'll bring tissues.
Whoa! Wait, the girls are fighting.
This is what George reckons Max said. I will purposely go out of my way to put you on your effing head in the wall.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, just to confirm what I said before, this is the report from the stewards, if it's going to focus. Anyway, it's the report from the incident from the stewards. Yeah. One of the last lines says, where did it go? Had car 63 been on a push lap, the penalty would have been most likely been the usual 3 grid position penalty. However, in mitigation of penalty, it was obvious the car of 63 had clear visibility of car 1 and that neither car was on a push lap.
So literally no need for a penalty.
Literally no need.
Just let it go.
That's why the beef is happening. Because
that's crazy beef for the end of the season where nothing matters, and it didn't matter in the first place.
Literally,
championship.
Max had already won, and yeah. So then, everyone, like, obviously they had the driver dinner, and apparently, from what I've seen from the rumors, but again, this could just be rumors, but apparently George was the last to arrive, and they saved a spare seat next to Max. And George moved that chair and sat next to Lewis.
That's so funny.
English, it's gone again. Sky Sports was
Oh, I've lost
apparently
my
saying
English.
they left. It's literally, when do I ever speak English on this podcast? People need to learn to speak my language. Sky Sports was saying that there was an empty seat either side of Max. That Max just sat in between two empty seats just to be like, you have choices, and they're both beside me. And then he dragged the chair. Well, I mean, obviously,
Because
No.
you just know that it's not that serious to Max.
yeah.
Well, that's
You
the
just
thing,
know
like,
that he's just like,
when
whatever.
he's saying that, I do feel like it's very. I saw this clip of this Dutch woman. This is not related at all, but we'll maybe add a little bit of color of her saying like they like Venmo each other for like, oh, you like shared mayo and ketchup with me when we had fries the other day. Like I'm going to charge you for half of that mayo and ketchup. Like, and they like nobody takes anything seriously though. Like I feel like if somebody charged me for mayo, I'd be like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
Calm down.
it's just mayo.
But I have heard, and I have seen a lot of people in the comments, not necessarily for this incident, but just for Max alone, being like, it's just because he's Dutch. Like, they have a very dry, very,
And
very
that's like,
non-funny sense of humor.
it's not to say to like excuse that what he said was like, yeah, it was kind of a little aggressive if he did say it, but if he did say it, like like at a certain point you kind of have to know who you're spending your time with, know your peers. Like they've been peers in the grid for a while, you know. Like Max is insane. We know that.
Yeah.
So
It's
and then
just
there was that like other part in the press conference where Max was like, "Oh yeah, I lined up on the grid box to make it look like I was gonna just ram into him."
have you seen the pictures of that too?
stop. That's so funny.
George is like this, and Max is literally like this in the grid box.
Yeah. And I mean, like
That's
he always
just committing to the bit.
like he always angles it, but it's just so much funnier with that context.
That is so funny.
Yeah. It's
No,
hilarious.
that's literally just commitment to a joke.
Yeah, but Max also said, in I can't remember if it was in an interview or whether like he said it in a throwaway and then it got circulated afterwards, but he said to George like, you and your FIA buddies, and George was like, I don't know what he's insinuating by that. Like,
Well, okay.
obviously we have the Grand Prix Drivers Association, like blah blah blah. I was like, oh my god.
George is always like snitching on other drivers, you know?
Yeah.
Which like I understand, like maybe he was just like a teacher's pet growing up or something and it just like stuck.
I
But
think
Well,
like
he's British.
yeah.
but like I don't know. Like
Well,
at a certain point you just kind of got to take it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's Max
that
Verstappen.
actually leads like nicely into kind of the next point that we have in our notes for Qatar. But in the sprint race press conference with Oscar, Lando, and George, Lando like kind of fumbled his words a little bit and he couldn't say one of the words. I can't remember what it was. I think it was prioritize or something. And he couldn't say and he stumbled a little bit. And then he was like, shit. And he was like, oh, sorry. And George was like, that's a fine. Like, he was so quick with it. And I was like, damn, George.
On it.
Relax. I swear to God, once he retires, he's going to become race director.
He has to. How funny would that be?
Like,
Perfect man for the job.
A perfect fit for the job. Perfect fit.
Really? I mean, I guess while we're talking about the GPDA as well, we've got to bring up, and like the Max and George drama, that photo that they posted, the group photo, where everyone apparently made Max and George shit down the front together.
Well, surely that's an old photo. That's
know.
what I was thinking. I was like, is this from this weekend?
Wait, hold on. Is Jack Doohan in it? Because... How do you spell Grand Prix? Good Lord. No, Jack Doohan's in it, so it must be this weekend.
Ah. Although, no, but he's a reserve driver for Alpine. He would have always been there.
Yeah, but Esteban's
like in the paddock.
Photo.
Oh, there's no Esteban.
Yeah.
Okay, I retract my statement. You've proved me wrong.
Max looks very happy. He's like ready to like rub arms with George.
Crazy. Oh, so there was also a video. I don't remember where it like fits in the timeline. I actually think it was after qualifying though. And George walked up to Max and he like patted him on the shoulder and like they went to, you know, dap him up sort of thing. And Max like he like chucked a shoulder in there. Like kind of like pushed him away with his shoulder, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
ooh.
The girls are fighting. And I mean, I don't know.
The divas are out.
The thing that I have always thought about, especially with the cursing thing, is like, I don't know. You don't like. I understand other athletes get a lot of adrenaline rushes, but like at the end of a soccer match or a rugby match or I don't know, a baseball game or whatever sport you want, like I feel like you're not as much on an adrenaline high as you are just exhausted.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's, I mean, I think it must be similar for the drivers of they must be absolutely exhausted. I can't believe. And then they immediately go and do interviews. And like the only time they really do that, at least in a lot of American sports or even like Premier League soccer, is like after big matches or big games is like, oh, I'm going to Disneyland, you know, like that's the interview that they do. But like they're never asked to like, and also your teammate and blah, blah, blah in this moment in the race. And it's like, yes, I just was flying around about to take off and like leap into outer space because my car's going so fast. And I'm also dead tired. Sure, Nico Rosberg, let me answer your questions, you know, or like let me sit in front of a bunch of reporters and answer things thoughtfully and mindfully without cursing. Like that's the thing is like we're all adults. You know, if you want your kid to watch F1, just put on the kids channel. They have one.
Yeah, literally. But also
don't know.
like don't watch the replays of the press conference and the interviews instead then.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna watch press conferences.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do think the
concern is the radios because kids might hear that, but even so,
they bleep it.
But they beep it out.
Adult sport.
Yeah, they beep the radios because it goes through a screening before it actually gets shown on air. And they,
like
always
how we
bleep
found
it.
out with Ricky, these new interns, Ricky. There was a long pause between the hello, and they trimmed it out so that it would fit like nice during the broadcast. So I don't know. I think it would make sense for George to end up in some sort of capacity governing. I think that would be such an interesting place to be is inside his head of like, what's going on in there? Because like there has to be that same competitive bite that all the other drivers have, but also a little bit of like, let me push up my glasses actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, every other driver would be absolutely terrified if George Russell was made race director. Like, I don't know if you've seen that press conference from literally years ago where, like, they're talking about Fernando retiring, and he's like,
that's the joke I was going to make, is, like, Fernando would finally retire.
Yeah, and Lewis is like, no, thank you, not while I'm racing. Like,
yeah.
That's like the same situation with George. They know it would just be, like, chaos. Also, you know what? I know this is a Qatar recap, but how much fun must have George had this weekend deleting half the grid from the group chat?
Oh my god.
He must have loved that.
I know that he's happy to get Esteban. Oh, he's not even out of that chat yet.
Oh yeah, no, he's at Haas next year.
No, because he would have been so sad removing Joe from that chat.
Yeah.
But Joe's first freaking points of the season for state.
Yeah.
That was huge. Wait, I saw a graphic that was like, oh, Joe made the same amount of points that Checo made in like the previous 4 races in one race. In the Sauber, which like, okay, you know, like a gentleman's salute. Like I was so excited. I remember being excited about that.
Yeah.
That he had gotten his points.
I'm not even a fan of his. Like I don't go out of my way to say that I'm like a Joe fan. But
you can't not be happy.
My heart
You
goes out to
can't
you.
not. And if you aren't, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Potential season in the sport as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll say I don't think anyone's necessarily a Zhou Guanyu fan. Like I don't think he has like
home. I'm sure he's got fans in his hometown.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
What? I feel like you love the man. Whether you're like a fan or not. You know
he's a cutie. He's
likable.
He's
lovable.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It makes me really laugh, the people that like everyone talks about, oh, Drive to Survive fans, or you're a new fan, whatever. But then they're always the ones that are quickest to turn around being like, but why is half the grid calling him Zoo? That's not his name. That's not how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Okay, Drive to Survive fan, have you heard of Prema? Have you heard of Prema? Do you remember those days? Because I'm pretty sure
lives out here fact checking everyone.
Too. Crazy that. But it's always those ones that are quick to go, Drive to Survive here, name every world champion, that go, it's not Zoo, it's Joe. Shut the fuck up. So mean, but like.
Liv said, actually.
Actually.
Wait, I saw, I don't know if it's confirmed or if it was just a rumor on one of those, sites or Instagram pages that Joe was going to be a reserve driver for Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the rumor right now. The two I've heard are both a Ferrari reserve driver, but it's Joe or it's Arthur Leclerc.
Oh, I'd love for Arthur to be a reserve driver.
Because that's my really unhinged theory prediction for next season. And I know it's not going to happen, but hear me out. Midway through next season, Lewis Hamilton is retiring and they're chucking Arthur Leclerc in the car. And that's why he was in free practice 1 this weekend, because he's not even Ferrari's reserve driver. Robert Schwartzman is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to run.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, true.
Didn't he drive around for
in Robert? Well, they should have. But I think
no. Didn't Robert actually do
he did
something?
He
did something because he picked up a penalty. But they can only have rookies that haven't driven a certain amount of Grand Prix or driven an F1 car a certain amount of times. Oh. And I don't know how many times Robert's driven for them, but I think it has to be less than 4 F1 starts, in free practice.
Oh,
interesting.
Okay. I think Robert's done more than that.
Yeah.
No, that
because it has to be, yeah. Rookie,
okay, regardless, that's my really unhinged theory that's not true at all, but
I do think that Lewis moving to Ferrari is the beginning of his goodbye. I think this is going to be the last team that he's at, whether or not that's 1 year, 2, however many his contract is. But I do think, I think it's a hell of a way to go with Ferrari, but I do think, and we've talked about this, I think all of us, at least at some point, of he's getting so involved in so many other things that at a certain point he's gonna have to there's only so much of Lewis to go around, But the other theory that I saw was that on the F1 merch store, Valtteri Bottas is coming up under Red Bull.
Yeah.
I really do wish, because honestly he would do so much better in that second Red Bull than
he would do so well.
But then I also heard that apparently Mercedes wanted him as a reserve driver. I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, I've heard both of those.
Valtteri literally was like, no, Red Bull hates me, I'm not going
there. But why is he on the website then?
Yeah, I think it was just a human error glitch that somebody's going to get fired for. He's trying to start drama or something. But Isaac had apparently accidentally let it slip that he's driving for RB next season. Which, if so, just bringing out that little actually again, if Isaac Hadjar gets signed for RB next season, 3 out of 4 of my driver predictions that we did are correct. Because I'm currently sitting at 2 out of 3.
Slay. Okay. Miss Manifest.
I think we're all at 2 out of 3 or something so far.
I know I said something about Liam Lawson, but I can't remember what.
Yeah, I do not even really remember.
Wait, let me have a scroll back while we are.
But I've seen the uproar about people being upset if Yuki doesn't get that second Red Bull seat.
They don't. Yeah. It's not going to happen. They don't like him.
It's not. No,
and it's not.
But also,
I'm not saying that because I don't like Yuki.
No,
I just don't think they like Yuki.
No,
Marco's racist as fuck.
Exactly.
Really, you know what I mean?
But also and I know it's hard to compare him with Max and Max's behavior, but Yuki seems. I swear to God, if this is another Lance Stroll reel that we get hate on, I'm gonna
say it.
Come back, baked beans. We miss you.
Happy birthday, Big Beans! By the way.
So glad we could make your birthday better.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Okay, Yuki seems difficult to control during the race.
Yeah.
From an engineer's perspective. Every time his engineer gives him direction, every time he tries to improve his performance, it's Yuki doesn't want a bar of it at all. And I understand, the pressure while you're driving, concentration, things like that. But and he doesn't do anything exceptional in the RB either. Yeah. That on top of helmet being
he hasn't
racist.
had that Zhou moment. of like, oh,
No.
he put it in fourth or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that he's not good, and I'm not
No,
saying that he
not at
doesn't
all.
deserve his seat, because he
Yes.
does. But I'm just saying that people, I think, need to look at the bigger picture instead of just saying, oh my God, he deserves that Red Bull seat, because they were saying the same thing about Danny when he came back into F1, and they were saying, you know, get Perez out, put Danny in, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But again, his recent performance from McLaren and RB
Yeah.
didn't show that he could perform
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brain fart. I lost my English. At RB with Max. And Albon has said how hard it is to be Max's teammate, and I don't think that Yuki could handle it.
That's what I was gonna say, is like, there have been so many mid-season drops because of Max, and I get that Max is their golden boy and they are working their model around Max, and that makes that seat hard to fill. Like, Checo, when he was doing well, was a perfect teammate because he was happy to be second. When all the rumors were going around like, oh, Carlos Sainz is going to Red Bull, I mean, absolutely not. He doesn't want to be a number 2 driver. At least at Williams, he's not going to be number 2 necessarily. He's going to be at least on equal footing. But you know that second Red Bull seat is never, whatever team Max is on, the other seat is going to be a number 2 driver until he starts to lose performance, which either he'll retire or that's never going to happen. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we'll see it.
And
you know?
I think something else to consider as well, which a lot of people turn a blind eye to because they refuse to believe it, but Red Bull is a business team, you know? They're going to chase the money. And if their second driver cannot match the input that Perez's sponsors have, I don't think that they'll take him. And I don't know what Yuki's sponsors are like, but I don't assume that it's going to be a lot.
I don't think they're Kit Kat, put it that way.
Yeah.
So, that's my thought on the Yuki to RB rumors, and I have felt that for years. And the fact that Yuki has not been able to change my mind on that says enough to me.
And like, it would be really interesting to see him in a different car, or in like
think he'd do well in Aston.
Yeah, or like a car with a little bit more punch, because like, it's the big sister, baby brother team to Red Bull. Like, they're never going to be consistently up there necessarily unless something crazy happens, because Red Bull's always going to have that place, you know? So I do think it would be interesting, and I think he could be really successful if given a car with a little bit more bite, but like, getting there is going to be an interesting journey.
I mean, saying all that as well, I feel like there is potential somebody else could be going to Red Bull. I don't know if you saw it, because I don't know what like interview it was from or what, but I saw the quote on somewhere about Horner being like, yeah, no, we only signed Checo the 2-year deal to try and ease his mind in hopes he'd perform better, and it's not worked. So now we're going to have to review after Abu Dhabi.
Right.
That's kind of like a messed up thing to do, though.
That is.
One, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's like a pity contract.
Yeah.
And he's been outscored by Zhou.
Yep.
In one rate, like, you know.
Well, and I think one of you two had posted the graphic, or maybe all of us have posted it, of like, Max has only had like a certain number of Q1 exits in the past 8 years. While Checo has been like pretty consistently unable to make it into,
I think he had 6 this season.
Checo's had 6 this season, and Max has had 5 in 8 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Which is, I mean, it's tough when you're going up against like the driver of the generation. Like, the contrast is stark.
Yeah. I mean, I found our predictions as well for seats.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we are all at 2 for 2. We are. Okay, so Brit, you got Jack Doohan at Alpine and Kimi Antonelli at Mercedes, right? And then
that's still so insane to me.
I can't believe it. Insane.
And then, I mean, we're still waiting on RB, so maybe it'll be 3 out of 4. Maybe it'll be 2 out of 4. I don't know. And then Sophia, you got Doohan and Kimi Antonelli.
Okay. Very original.
Yeah. And then I've gotten Doohan and Bortoletto. And my meme laugh of Daniel Ricciardo to Mercedes, because I didn't want to believe that Antonelli. But then I've got Isaac Hadjar for RB, and Sophia's got Lawson for RB, and Britt's got Lawson too. And that's still the final seat. And that's terrifying, honestly.
I don't know, just I feel like RB is going to bring in a rookie, to be honest,
I really hope
because look, I know he's shut down the rumors. I know Max has shut down the retirement rumors for next year.
he's done.
But, you know, he's going to be going at some point, and RB are going to want their Max 2.0. They're going to want someone that will stay with them for years, that Max can, you know, show them the ropes,
Yeah.
and they can mold to
Could
be
you
their
imagine?
next driver.
Could you imagine learning from
Angle
Max
your
Verstappen?
car towards P1, especially if it's George.
Yeah. Literally.
But what is the quote from NASCAR? I'm going to put my foot on the floor until I see the checkered flag or God.
Yeah.
That's Max Verstappen teaching someone something.
Literally.
But I mean, in saying that, I think if they want a junior driver to come up and be molded by Max Verstappen, they need to understand that he's a junior driver that needs to be molded by Max Verstappen and put him into the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like we've seen with the drivers that have started in RB, they don't make
That's what I mean.
Such a car difference, and they've been so fine-tuned to this RB or the AlphaTauri or the Toro Rosso, whatever they started. When they get to RB, a Red Bull, it does not work. So they need to commit to this junior driver and chuck him straight in Red Bull.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we look at all the Red Bull rookies that we had. You know, they've all.
Yeah, but you know what? Bro could not keep up in a Red Bull after being in a Toro Rosso for that long.
No, and that's the thing.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I think, is that, like, because as well with how, because Max is so, he contributes so much to the design of the Red Bull, and they build it around his driving style.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, and Albon has said before that it's so different. The RB is so different to any other car that he's driven. Like, I feel like as a rookie, you need to learn on that to be able to control it.
Yeah, and they have to concede, too, to not only build it around Max. You know, take into consideration the other driver and their preferences and their... And, I mean, I think it's a little tough if it's a rookie because they don't know really what they're talking about necessarily. But they would have to, I think, concede a bit of that because I think it's easier to do that with someone like Max because Max can, I'm sure, make whatever car work. You know, they freaking sanded down. Was it Las Vegas? They freaking sanded down the back wing because they brought the wrong one. Yeah. And he made it work, right?
Yeah.
But so like, they could not tailor it as specifically to him, and he would still, I'm sure, put that car through its paces.
Well, it's evident with Perez. Perez struggled with the car for what, a year and a half, or like half?
Yeah,
a year and a half or a year or something
that he had called out,
and they didn't realize until Max started struggling 12 months later.
Just because Max had been able to make it work. Yeah.
And you know what? I'd really like to see Isaac. I know I predicted Isaac Hadjar to go to RB, but I'd really like to see him go to Red Bull next season. Because after the shocking weekend he had in Abu Dhabi this weekend, that man needs some love and attention and like some forehead kisses. Because when either of you watched that F2 feature race, what the fuck is the only word I can say. I was on the floor last night. And B, if you saw how he drove Max's car in free practice 1, he struggled a bit, but he still did better than other rookies were doing. I love Arthur there, but bro couldn't drive that Ferrari very well. He didn't crash.
Yeah, wasn't he P19?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, his brother was in first or second, so like.
Well, Charles lapped him, so.
You know what? This is what I've said for years.
But that was cute, though.
Combine those Leclerc brothers into one driver, they would be unstoppable. And I'm sure it's this podcast, but Arthur cannot qualify for the life of him. But good Lord, can that man overtake in a race? He will go from last to first in a heartbeat.
Well,
he can really qualify. But you know what? Apart from this weekend, that man, if he starts last, he's finishing last.
I was going to say, I'm like, well, that maybe doesn't apply anymore.
Hasn't happened yet, as far as I'm concerned. I'm Qatar. Usually, man cannot drive. And
Subtle foreshadowing.
Isn't like bias. He cannot get up in a race if he starts last. So if you can combine those two, unstoppable. Unstoppable. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
You're coming to my TED Talk.
Oh my god.
I feel like we need to talk about the second elephant in the room for Qatar. Qatar.
Wait, were you doing voice to text? When you sent us that message earlier about scheduling?
Because yes.
Yeah, because they autocorrected to Qatar. Sorry, our other elephant in the room.
Okay, cool. I didn't even read it. I had no clue.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Anyway.
I think. Okay, yeah, we need to talk about the mirror.
The mirror.
Oh, the beaver.
Oh my god! And you know what? I totally get it. I get the confusion.
I get it.
Confused, but what?
Oh my god, that was
all over
It just
again.
whipped off, right?
yeah. It look
Jesus.
the Williams asked they've had to tap into their 2025 budget
Yeah.
to get by and finish the season. So that you just know that mirror was being held on by duct tape.
And I know that's my boy's damage. I know we're literally repping the hell out of Logan Sargent right now, but that's literally his fault.
But
We've got a double Logan.
Alex Albon has also had a shocker in at least the first half of the season. I'm not standing for the Logan slander. I think this was equally their fault. You know what? This is even Colapinto's fault.
Exactly.
Yeah, Franco has had a lot of huge crashes the past couple races.
Vegas, maybe? I don't know.
Brazil?
Vegas and Brazil was the big one. And, like, if they'd had, like...
identical to Lando's? What the fuck? Logan's Zandvoort crash. Identical. The way he hit the wall and spun back out. Yeah. The way that looked identical. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about slander towards Logan Sargent after that.
We love Logan Sargent in this household.
Yeah, literally. We love him.
Yeah, I feel like if they had a little bit of a cleaner season with both drivers having less damages, they would have been able to afford the bigger crashes that they had, especially Franco's crash, which honestly, that crash, I can't even be mad at him because he was probably so scared. Like, it was nasty. It looked really gnarly.
Well, they made him race with a concussion. I'm so mad at Williams.
They were like, oh,
Williams,
don't talk about
when
it.
I catch you, Williams.
Just winding up. It's on site.
James.
No, yeah, literally, we'll wear Logan Sargent merch, but we will not stand for James Vowles over here.
No, because that's the thing. Nobody understands that it's James Vowles that is the problem. And I don't get why
he has a weird vibe.
Engineer or something, because you did well. Except for when you're an asshole to Valtteri, because what's your name? James Valtteri, fuck you. But like at the end of the day, is he really that great of a team principal? Okay, cool. He got Carlos Sainz to somehow sign with Williams.
Yeah, because they were having cutie little dates at night. That's so weird.
In his hotel room.
Last option. Where else could he have gone? Please, where else? Red Bull probably don't want him back. Mercedes clearly didn't want him. Toto had his sights set on Kimi. Yeah. You know what? Stake, they clearly knew who they wanted. And you know what? Good on them for signing Gabriel Bortoleto, because if they didn't, also would have been on site. My man. Literally, where else was there to go? Haas. Nobody wants to go to Haas.
I mean, after the performance they've been having in the past couple of races.
Yeah, they've been good.
Actually, to be fair, I would go to Haas over Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're doing good under new management. And next year they have a big sponsor coming in, aren't they?
Toyota.
Oh no.
No?
Wasn't that effective from this year?
I think I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, their new team principal, I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me. He's they've secured GR Racing, so Gazoo Racing, so Slay.
Yeah, I love Gunther Steiner. I treat him like he's a personal friend, even though I've never met the man. But like a lot of the work, like it's still a lot of stuff that he's done that's, I think Ayao Komatsu has like taken it and really done really good things with it. And you know, Gunther's departure from Haas is what it is, and his book, you know, has his little foreword, his little author's note to Gene specifically, and I'm sure there were a lot of complicated dynamics, but like he came into a team that was poised to do well for this. You know, like yes, I think Ayao has really done a really good job with, and like whoever's engineering the car, and also Nico and Kevin driving it, everybody has been really doing a good job. And I do think that it was also really positively set up by Gunther's time the last season, because so much of the development for the car happens the season before.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This car is Gunther Steiner's. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, this is his car. That's why Haas is doing so well right now.
Mm,
We'll see what this new bloke can do next year, realistically.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
And they just like
It's
let
good to
Kevin
remember that.
Magnussen off the leash in the first half of the season. And we're like, you know what? Go to jail. We'll bail
Literally.
you out.
They literally.
And it's like last year, everyone was slamming Fred Vasseur because they're like, you've come in all high and mighty and this car's shit. But once again, it wasn't his car. It was still Matteo Binotto's, which honestly, good luck to Stake next year. I hope he like had that year off and he's actually like worked on himself and like
Maybe.
I don't know, because I don't know what happened the last few years at Ferrari was not it. And I truly, I don't even say this sarcastically. I hope he has worked on himself and I hope he's figured his shit out and that he can actually like run a good team, good car, everything.
Well, because the options are we're either going to watch the light leave his driver's eyes or we're going to see he had personal growth. Like it's one or the other.
And you know what, to be honest with you, it better be the personal growth option because I cannot stand to watch the light dim in Gabriele Bortoletto's eyes.
No, he's a rookie.
I love that, man.
He's a child.
Little cutie.
They were also, okay, I'm sorry, skipping ahead a little bit. They were just talking about like how young the drivers were since the last time like McLaren had been in like fighting for a constructors title. And it was like, oh, Oscar wasn't born and neither was Lando. And I was like, am I old? Yeah. What's happening right now?
Yeah. And then like the next year when McLaren lost the constructors to Ferrari, Lando was 13 days old. Oscar's still not born, obvi, but like, hello?
Wait, when's Lando's birthday? Like what month is he?
What is his astrological sign?
Oh my god, let me Google it. Hold on.
Because I'm a few months older than Lando. We're the same year.
I think I'm a few months older. Of days older than Charles Leclerc, which always sends me on a trip.
Okay, so Lando Norris is the 13th.
Are you a Libra?
Yeah.
Oh, slay.
Wait, when's his birthday?
13th of November.
Oh, he's a Scorpio. Well, okay, that checks out.
It makes so much sense.
But like half the drivers, they're like all Libras, Leos, or they're like scattered. But there's so many Virgos, Leos, and Libras, I think. They're like all fall babies. I don't know if maybe it has to do with like when the karting season starts and when they're like just old enough on the younger side so they have the maximum amount of time to spend in karting before they like start going to like single seater. I don't know if it has anything to do with that of like
something's going
their
on.
Their birthdays. But yeah. I don't know. All I know is Charles Leclerc and I are both Libras.
Wait, Liv, what are you?
I'm okay. Well, it depends who you ask, whether I'm an Aquarius or a Pisces.
Are you on like the 21st or 22nd?
I'm on the 19th of February. And
yeah.
Every time I try to look into it, it's like, you're on the cusp. But I'm like...
Yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm more Pisces for the most part. Like, that adds up more. So I don't know.
And wait, Brit, remind me your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Ah, love.
Around.
Just a really good time to bring up. I told the girls in the group chat earlier that I had a really unhinged and random thing to say.
Oh, yes. Finally, I've been waiting for this.
And you're all going to probably give me... My prediction for your response right now is you're going to give me the blankest stare I've ever had because the thing that come out of my mouth is so dumb. You're going to be like, how did your brain even
say it?
I'm going to sound like a crazy. But basically, I only watched Abu Dhabi this morning. I didn't stay up to watch the race. So I finished just before filming this. And I like kept letting it play to like the post-race interviews and stuff. And when Sky was doing like their replay that they do, they replayed Lewis overtaking George in the last lap. And they like replayed that a couple times. And Nico Rosberg sat there going on a rant about just how perfect this overtake was and just being like a loved up little love thing, right?
He loves Lewis so much.
And my brain seems to work very Brosades because my brain instantly went, you know what? I think Lewis is only actually leaving Mercedes. He's pretending that it's like, oh, the car's shit. I just want to drive for Ferrari. No, I think he's leaving Mercedes because there's just too many sad memories there and he just wants to make amends with Nico. But every time he's still racing for Mercedes, he just remembers it. So he's going to Ferrari so he can start afresh and be in love with Nico Rosberg again.
Wait, do you know the meme? Not that this is them at all because Nico Rosberg is happily married. But like the meme that's like, ooh, and they're both boys.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's good.
Man.
Because that was all that came to my mind, and I think there's something wrong with me for that to be the case. But like instantly, my brain was like, "Got it. That's why he's leaving Mercedes."
I mean, even if
it
it's
is a
not,
hot take.
I mean, it's not as hot. I don't know. To me, of like, even if it's not top of mind, there has to be an air of something of like, you know, when you like go back to your elementary school or your high school, and it's like, oh, I feel weird, but I can't name it because there's like so much. Oh. So much baggage and like history involved. Maybe it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not like on like top of like he can name it, but maybe it's something that's like it makes sense that his time is coming to an end now, and since we've skipped ahead a little bit to Abu Dhabi, like Nico Rosberg asking Charles Leclerc about getting Lewis as a teammate, and Charles Leclerc immediately just talking about how Carlos is leaving feels very like history repeats itself almost, but in like a different style and a different
my
scenario.
God. Are Charles and Carlos going to be Mercedes 2.0? Is that what you're saying?
I hope so.
No, because they did have a little fight, and so like their breakup is like a little bit like we like each other, we got in a fight, like I'm okay parting ways. It feels a little bit more civil and less involved than Mercedes, because that one had way too much like the roots of their hearts. Wow, let me spit some poetry at you really quick. The roots of how they grew up together. I mean, like that's so much more involved.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You just reminded me, and I don't know if it was Las Vegas or Qatar. I'm pretty sure it was Las Vegas because that's when Charles was really, really angry. But when somebody asked him about Carlos leaving, and like I said to Fred, Carlos isn't my girlfriend. He's going to be 20 meters down the paddock.
Yeah.
He said we're not breaking up.
Ferrari.
Wait, he said we're breaking up, but he's not moving out.
Yeah, literally. He's literally just moving next door. It's fine.
Yeah.
Literally,
it's
like hallway.
It's literally like when you're trying to convince your friend that you've made it your job that like you'll stay in touch because you're only moving to the office down the road, and then you'll never hang out.
Yeah.
You'll never see me again. Oh my God.
Yeah.
About team switches and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Before we get too deep into Abu Dhabi, because that'll be its own episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GM got announced as the 11th team for 2026.
Yeah.
And my favorite German return. Then what?
Look, I'm gonna say a controversial comment.
Do it.
And I don't want baked beans to come at me, but I'm gonna say it. This comes not okay. I'm just gonna say it. I don't know if Danny should come back.
Neither do I.
I
agree with you.
I feel like one, maybe his mental health can't take it.
Yeah.
If he comes back, and it's a repeat for the third time. But also, like,
he's happy.
You don't need this, bud. Yeah. You have other things going on.
He's so happy.
You know?
Save yourself.
Yeah.
Leave, please, and stay out. And this is coming from an Australian, you know, and Danny was one of the drivers that got me into F1. So you know, this is saying a lot, but I fear for his mental health if he comes back.
I think we love him enough to acknowledge and respect that he cannot and should not return. And as much as I think seeing him and his funny little face on the grid, at the end of the day, in all seriousness, I don't think I want him to come back.
Yeah, I feel the same with Bottas as well. I'm like, you've seen a lot, you've achieved a lot.
Had your time,
and like I don't want you to be burnt. Yeah. You know, come and go into another team. I understand reserve driver. Obviously, that's what Danny did. But I don't know how I would. I think I would feel the same if it was announced that Valtteri would be driving full-time in another team again.
I think it would have to really boil down to them caring too much about the sport to leave it, like not caring that it would hurt them again. But I like Oh man, I had a really good thing to say and it's gone now.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, of just like they would have to care for it more than they wanted to save themselves from the hurt.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I know we try not to talk about the feeder series too much, but I feel like we need to talk about F1 Academy in Qatar because
Yes.
we all know how much this podcast loves Abby Pulling.
She has the best merch. Oscar Piastri, go figure out what Abby Pulling is doing. Come on, man.
Have you guys seen his Christmas sweater?
No, I don't think I want to.
Oh, I'm gonna get it for you.
Okay.
We're gonna do it.
Continue.
Yeah, our girl was crowned F1 Academy champion. After the second race was cancelled. It was cancelled, and they were the words used. Cancelled.
That's so insane to me.
Cancelled. Lo and behold, going into Abu Dhabi, they decided, actually, we're going to reinstate that second race, and make it a third race in Abu Dhabi. So our girl was then decrowned as champion. And I mean, obvious, she got it back. In qualifying or race 1, she got it back that quickly.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is, how dare you do our girl like that?
Like, just why?
Have it figured out beforehand.
Yeah,
but the thing is, Dorian Pun, who was second in the championship behind her, she was 83 points behind her, and there was 4 points that could be won. But Abby Pulling's never finished out of the points. She's never finished off a podium. And after Abu Dhabi as well, she still finished on a podium every single race of this season.
That's a huge slay.
Yeah. It wasn't going to happen. Like, unless she DNF'd every race, Dorian couldn't have won. So why not just leave her crown as champion, and then worst case scenario, if somehow Dorian did win, then be like, actually, sorry. But like, also,
it's a real crazy upset.
Yeah. You cancelled the race. You didn't postpone it. So why is it postponed?
Yeah. Also, just like have your schedule figured out ahead of time. What?
Yeah.
Literally.
And like it cannot be easy to get a venue like that at short notice. Like I understand your F1 Academy and your Susie Wolf, and actually now that I'm saying it, I would do anything for Susie Wolf. So like I get it, but also like that's like dangling carrots in a pretty like almost vicious way, I would say.
Yeah.
She ended up having not a shocking weekend. Obviously, she still did well and like won the championship, but she ended up having like a pretty shit weekend in comparison to her normal weekends in Abu Dhabi. She still finished on the podium each race. But like, her car was shit.
Well, because no one's like, if you add things at the last minute, no engineer, no team principal, no team is prepared for that. If you're just randomly like, oh, also here you go, do this now.
Yeah.
Your budget is for a certain, capacity. You can't just change that. Yeah. That's not fair.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't watched, I know this isn't an Abu Dhabi recap, but if you haven't watched at least race 3 from Abu Dhabi with the F1 Academy, go watch it, because literally cars 1 through 15 were in like, I know they don't have DRS, but what would have been a DRS train? Like the entire,
oh my gosh,
never got gaps between them. Like they were backed up the entire field, the entire race, and it was chaos. It was the greatest race all season. It was so good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our Qatar recap.
Wait, and last bit was the sprint. Oh. The sprint.
When McLaren made a switch. Yeah, look, that pissed all of us off, to be honest. Yep. I understand, Lando, understand where you're coming from. You want to say thanks,
Say thanks verbally, but, dude. Just, get him a nice gift.
Yeah.
Buy his dinner.
This is now the second, and to be fair, in their defense, I actually haven't seen anyone say that it was another gifted win. I think because Lando came out and said that it was a thank you from him, so I think the fans are not as...
Thank you.
I know. Like, here you go. You have my
give you a
second-hand win.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like the same thing. Yeah. It's like the same thing with Checo's pity contract. Like, it's a pity win. Like, thanks for that thing you did. Thanks for all the money you gave me, Checo. Here's, like, a contract so you don't have anxiety at night. Oh, yeah. Oscar, thanks for everything. Like, here's some points that don't matter.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was Oscar, I probably would have, like, turned a hard right into the fucking pit wall or something. Just
No, I
This
agree.
is it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Actually, Lando, this is your win. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I
Yeah.
would have been like,
much I would
I
have
would have,
Just keep slowing down till someone
Yeah.
passes.
I would have been that scene from Cars where Lightning just slams on his brakes right before the finish line and then like turns and he's like, bye.
Actually, you go ahead.
Yeah. My God.
Actually, you do it. You know what, Lando? No, you earned this one. This one's for you. I just, I don't know.
I have one more point to bring up, and it's so like it doesn't even matter. 2 points, but like kind of the same point. Lewis and Yuki's media day fits
Oh, slay.
lapped, absolutely.
Slay.
But then my next point, also on media day fits, is Lance and Joe. It looks like they were basically matching, just in different color schemes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
Look at their outfits, dead set, same outfit basically, just different colors.
I'm gonna have to take a squiz.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lewis's fit in particular, I loved it. I love that he's let his hair down now. You know, he's not got it in his tiny
the
little
bun.
man bun.
Yeah.
I love
He's let him out.
Yeah.
Free the locks.
Yes.
Seriously,
Love.
it suits him so well.
Yep. I'm very excited for the Met Gala.
Me too.
Oh my God. It's going to be good.
I can't even English, don't worry about it.
Wait, that was the other thing in terms of media appearances is that Carlos and Charles were at the Gladiator 2 premiere with Pedro Pascal and, oh gosh, what's his name?
Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal. I was overwhelmed. There was too much going on for me.
Same. I saw all the clips and I was like, and then Paul was at Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he did the media day challenge with them.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you guys doing here?
It was so cute.
It was so funny because my friend is obsessed with Pedro Pascal. Like, shout out Jen. I'm going to shout you out on the pod.
You finally shouted someone out.
I finally shouted someone out. So, shout out to Jen. She is obsessed with Pedro. She loves him with her whole heart. And I was sending her every single video of Ferrari boys at the premiere because I'm like, look, our worlds are colliding. Like, hello, both of our men in the one pick, slay, and she was overjoyed.
I have to say, me and one of my good friends actually went and saw Gladiator, and we were literally like Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz because she was Carlos Sainz, obsessed with the first movie, seen it hundreds of times, whereas I was Charles Leclerc. I was like, except I hadn't just watched it the day before. I've actually never seen the first one. So I was just
You've never seen the first Gladiator? I only watched it because I was going to go see the second one, but it's really good actually.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's good. I've seen it before, but I got the recap from Jen before we went and watched it because she had watched it the night before.
Okay, what did you guys think?
I really liked it.
But it was good. Oh.
Well, I'm not going to say I really liked it.
I have to confess, I fell asleep for 20 minutes in the middle of it.
I'm going to say there was a big part that played into why I really liked it. So.
The plot.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was like fun to go see, but I think, I don't know, when they brought in all the backstory stuff, I kind of got weird about it. I was like, oh, okay.
Have we watched Senna, the new...
No, I'm
not
scared.
Yet.
I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Episode, you both know Kiara. Shout out Kiara. She had a little watch party and they binge watched all of it in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Like, my makeup is gone. So now I don't want to finish it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm like trying to make my way through the Schumacher documentary, and that's already a lot.
Yeah,
we all
I
know
have to
how
watch
that
that
ends.
as well.
That's like my comfort. Like, I put that on when I don't know what else to watch.
Yeah, it's just hard because sometimes they just talk in German, and I know languages, but German's not one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I watch everything with subtitles anyway, so like.
I know, but I can't just like have it on like casually in the background and like osmotize, like absorb it. You know, I have to like think and read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
Yeah. I feel like that was a lot covered in like a little time. I'm actually pretty
happy. It was like one full serving of Qatar and then like a little bit of dessert with Abu Dhabi in there. mixed
Yeah, a
in.
little bit of foreshadowing of our
Yeah.
next step and our last race recap of the season.
Wow.
What are you gonna do for like 90 something days?
You know what's wild? I thought about it and I was like, you know what? 90 days actually isn't that much.
No. Especially when I'm thinking about that in terms of actually saving up to be going to Melbourne in 90 something days. It's really not a lot of time. I've got a ticket.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's all you need for now.
Yeah, I've got accommodation booked. It's just not paid for.
Mood.
Yeah.
You got it. You're set.
That's
Yeah.
fine. We're good to go.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But yes, well, I hope that you all enjoyed that one. I had fun. I'm glad that the gang's all back together.
This
Yes.
is chaos.
We've missed it,
That's the first time since like Singapore that all three of us have recorded together.
which is crazy.
Finally.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Wild. Well, stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah.
We'll see you in
Adios.
Abu Dhabi.
Bye.
Bye.